Hello, hello, hello. I was trying to do this video for my good friend Benecia Hernandez. Um, and she wanted me to kind of talk about my mental and how this whole thing is affecting my mental and what's going on and just kind of like I don't know. I guess try to give you guys some positivity. But first, I think since this whole virus COVID-19 thing has been going on, I kind of got dealt with from like two different perspectives because around the same time, like I had like bronchitis, like late February, like or early March when the MEAC tournament was going on. I had like bronchitis. I was like, test me, and they were like, well, you don't have all the symptoms. I was like, nah, test me. And so I got the test. I was negative, and then like right around that time, my mom got sick, and I was like, oh man, So, and they were like dealing with patients on a different level, and dealing with African American patients on a whole another level, And I think I mentioned I did a radio interview, and I was like, well, they always say there's a disparity in the numbers. There's always a disparity in the numbers when it comes to us. So, and there's like a disparity in arrests and murders and all. There's always a disparity, and there's also the disparity in hospital treatment. So I was like, this ain't happening with my mom. So I had to call the ambulance. I found her. She was laying on the floor, and I was like, oh my God. And so that affected me mentally with this whole issue because I'm like, is it coronavirus? Or, so I called the ambulance and they were like asking me these qualifying questions. Does she have a temperature and all that? And I was like, nah, but she does have some respiratory issues that she's been dealing with. And so we dealt with that, put her in the hospital for like a week, like from the week Saturday to last Thursday. And I argued and debated with the doctors the whole time and didn't know what was going on. And so from that perspective, 2 days later, I found her again, and I had to call the ambulance again. And I was livid. So my whole thing was that, like, dealing with the disparity in the numbers and stuff like that. It's like it's always something. There's always a disparity in like there's never a good disparity. Like saying there's so many black millionaires. They're only 13% of the population, but there's 50% of the millionaires. We don't see that kind of disparity. But when arrests and deaths and all these things, so they had a tiger by the tail. I don't know if they knew it, but anyway, my mom's home. She's safe. She's good. She never had the virus. It was just another issue with her. But secondly, I want to just touch on my mental with the whole COVID-19 thing, and it's kind of different. And I don't want people to think I'm arrogant or anything, but it's like, man, I've faced so many adversities in my life. It seems like I was always overcoming something. Always I'm overcoming this, overcoming that. So, right now, and then with soldiers on the battlefield, really, and I feel I always say I'm a warrior. I'm just doing what warriors do. And so, with that being said, I feel like, this is a restart for everybody. It's like a reset, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, it's like, we used to race when we were little kids, and the fastest guy would say, I'll give you a head start. And we're like, okay, because, you blazing, so give me like a 2 or 3 second, 5 second head start. And I feel this might be what's going on with this piece, and like I said, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I've overcome so many adversities that I feel like, man, here we go again with something. And like, if you're gonna reset it, and like I started the start line with anybody when it comes to this thing called life, I'll do it. I mean, like, so, I feel like, some people might have had a head start or didn't, and again, like I said, I know it's a life or death situation, and for an extrovert like me, it's like especially hard. It's almost like a reverse cocoon, you know what I'm saying? Like, you say you go from a cocoon, a caterpillar to a cocoon to a butterfly, but I feel like it's almost like trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube where you go from like being a butterfly and now they want you to be a cocoon. So I'm dealing with that as far as my mental. But on the other hand, I'm like, man, we got to get out here and not necessarily, but be savage, or do whatever we need to do. Then, you know, I ain't mad, but I think we just need to obey God and look at the signs and understand what God is trying to say to us, because inevitably God's saying something. He's talking, He's speaking without saying nothing. And that was, I looked at the sermon today, and it's like the most difficult time to hear God is when He don't say nothing, because He's told me, like, sit down, stupid, or some other stuff. But when you don't hear from God, that's when you like really need to like get down and pray. But I hope everybody is safe, and I hope that this sheds some kind of light on it. But it's like this is a different perspective, and I'm sure with all the people that have spoken already on her forum about mental health, it will come to light that God is saying something. You just gotta like understand and kind of deal with that situation. So all right, it's been real. Love you guys. Peace.